Okay, welcome to a video that I'm putting together for a journey that I'm working on, which is rebuilding my bookkeeping business, right? So this first one is what I call my expenses tracker, but I actually used the wrong sheet. This is supposed to be my debit order tracker, not my expenses. So I'll redo it and correct it in the next video upload. So I just want to get something out so that I know that the lighting is right, the sound is right, everything is right before I get to record everything else, because I am noticing that I'm getting stuck on aesthetics, and I want to get the work out there. So this is one of the first. If it's such a bad blunder, or if it's a cringe type of piece of content, I will get rid of it and we'll refine as we go along. So come along for this video. I am tracing my December debit orders. So at the top here, I select which month that I'm working on. So I'm starting off with December 2025, and this is in my business account. I only have one business account, which is in the Capitec account. And as I work on these reconciling planner pages, I will add the missing pieces, because the other reason why I'm eager to get started is so that I can work on the look and feel practicality of the planners, and this is one of those. So as I get started, this is the month of December. So I work from my bank statement. I do not handle cash at all. So I would have cash for very small things like, the car guard in a parking lot or toll gates here and there, but I generally work on the bank. Everything is card, everything is EFT. Customers pay me into the bank, and everything is pretty much happening in the bank. Very little, particularly from the business account, I have very little cash withdrawals. So the first one that I have here is my gym membership. So my gym membership is obviously supposed to be for my personal, but I've decided to have it go through my business bank account, and I would then claim it as a staff welfare. So first column is your date. You put on your date. That was the 1st of December. Then the transaction is gym. So if you have several things or several transactions of the same thing, you can be more descriptive. Gym Virgin Active, gym Planet Fitness, gym mom, gym dad, gym me, gym kids. And then category, will delve on that in another video. It's basically in your chart of accounts, in your business, how do you categorize this expense? Then the next two columns, which are very important, and it's something that I need business owners to be very wary of. So that's part of why I'm building this planner, is so that people can see exactly how much of a mismatch in their transaction exists in their businesses. So part of it is you need to be able to split your transactions between business and personal and the amount. So in this instance, the gym is going through my business account. I then also categorize it as a business expense as part of my staff welfare. The amount was 778 rand and 20 cents. Then on the 2nd of December, I have a Google Workspace subscriptions where I manage my Google. I will go deeper in each of these type of services and transactions and tools that I use in my business in more videos to come. So this expense was 623 rand and 33 cents. The next one is register domain, which is for hosting my website. If you've been with me for a while, you know my website has been up and down, so I still have that cost. I just need to manage my website, but I am paying for that monthly, and that is in the business account. The amount every month is 167. I will explain a lot of these things in detail. So for example, that 167 shouldn't all be in Rokawane's business, because I have two other businesses that are linked to one registered domain, so they give me one invoice. So if we're going to get technical, the other two businesses are supposed to carry their own costs instead of it coming here, so I have to do transfers and all of that. But for the purposes of us starting out, I'm just going to take all the expenses in one company. And then the next two lines are my savings transactions that I've manually set up. So this money gets out of my business account, goes into my personal savings account. So that's why you'll see that it is in the bank, the business bank account, but the use of that money is actually for my savings. Again, I'll clarify as we go along. Then the next one is for my storage. This is a physical storage that I have. I still need to think about how I need to categorize this properly. For now, just put it down as a general expense. This is where I store stuff. 1,464 Rand and 1 cent. The next one is Google One. This is also part of the Google subscriptions that I have. I've categorized that as subscriptions. Monthly cost is 34.99, and then I have another weekly savings of 50 Rand. So normally these savings come off every Friday. So if it's a 4-week month, I would have 4 of them out of my business bank account into my personal savings account. Again, as we go along, I'll clarify why all of this is here and how I work around it. Then the next one is for my wages, not for me, for my intern. I have an intern that works for me. I pay her 2.5 every month. It is my business expense. I categorize that as salaries and wages. Another debit order that I have is for Microsoft. So Microsoft is part of the tools that I use. So for now, I've put it as subscriptions, but it also needs to be sort of I need to reclassify it. So is it an accounting fee? Is it a consulting fee? Is it an admin fee? I will do a separate videos on categories, and then we can sort of delve in deeper on how to categorize which expenses appropriately. One thing to remember is I am an accountant, so some of my costs are, I'm a service-based. Basically what I'm trying to say is I'm a service-based business. I'm an accountant, so some of the costs that I have are very tools related, not necessarily like a product cost of sales, buying supplies, buying stock. I don't have any of that. So you will see a lot of subscriptions in my income statement. And then towards the end of the month, I had 2 more savings transactions of 50 Rand. And then I had, again, the gym, in December's, gyms usually take their January money in December. So I had that one go off on the 31st of December 2025. And I don't know why they took more, but anyway, it's done. I'm done with that. I'm done with that gym subscription, so I won't be paying for that in the next couple of months when you see these videos come along. So basically, I just have a look at my bank statement, and I compare it with what exactly are my debit orders for every month. And generally, this is what my bank statement looks like. And mind you, in this particular planner page, it is only debit orders, so I did not include any of the income. So if that's all you're interested in now, you can stop the video here, but I'm going to go on and show what it would actually look like to have this on paper and have it match exactly to what your bank statement looks like. So to do that, I then have to do what we call a bank reconciliation. So but in this instance, I just tallied them up to see, okay, fine, exactly how much are these debit orders. Mind you, these are my debit orders for the month and probably all the expenses for the month in my business, because I don't have any other business transactions outside of this particular bank account. So I can tally them up so that I see what the total is, but the purpose of this sheet was not necessarily to tally them up. It was just to have an idea of what exactly are my monthly expenses. So in this second part of the video, like I said, I'm now going to sort of have a mini reconciliation, which is I want to see what I can get on paper and mimic what my actual bank statement PDF file looks like. So, but with that, I will need my income categories or my income transactions, which is the money that came into my bank account, either being my sales or any other deposits. So again, I'm currently running my business at a loss, so I don't have a lot of customers paying in. If anything, for this month, I only have one customer that pay me. So firstly, so you need about 3 items, I suppose, for your bank reconciliation. You need your incomes, you need your expenses, and you need to know what's left over. And then what's left over needs to be added or subtracted from what you started off with, which is your opening bank balance. With those four, you are able to find what your closing bank balance is, and then check your physical bank balance was on the PDF statement. If there's a difference, something is missing. So here I am telling down my income for the month. I had 715 Rand from one client. And then the other money that comes into my bank account is my injection, because I need to inject money into the business, so my capital, because I know I have all of these costs that I need to pay for, that my income, my sales, is not going to cover for them. So in this particular month, my injection was 5,000 Rand, and that came through around the 22nd of December, because I was also preparing to pay for my wages. So my total income was 5,715 Rand. Do I have any sense? No sense. Yeah. So now this income versus my expenses, you can immediately see that I'm running at a loss. That would come to, so I don't use a calculator. I use a spreadsheet. So when there's a bit of a lag in my voice, I just needed to get the calculation done on Excel. So my total loss is 1,253 Rand and 65 cents. So from face value, my income for the month was 5.7. My expenses were 6.9. The expenses are more than my income. In pure theoretical terms, I'm running at a loss. So let's see if I can reconcile and mimic what my actual bank says, my bank statement. Let's see what my bank statement says. So that would start off with my opening balance on the first of the month. At the beginning of the month, my opening balance was 3,334 Rand and 16 cents. So now this was a positive balance. I need to add all of my income. The deposits that came into my bank account was 5,715 Rand. From that income, I need to subtract my expenses. What have I spent that money on? So that is that first sheet that we've done, 6,968 Rand and 95 cents. So remember to include all of your bank charges, right? Add all of them up and then check what that comes down to. So all of that comes down to 2,080 rand 0.51. So I'm obviously going to speed up the video. In real life, it doesn't happen that quickly. I needed to think and check what could have gone wrong. So my tally is 2080.51. My bank statement actually says 2046.48. So there is an unreconciled bank figure of about 34 rand. So sorry, the screen will move up now. So that's why I'm saying I needed to get these things out so that I can see the technicalities that are not working, that I can start fixing on. So definitely working up on my table setup, my lighting, the sound, the systems, because story for another day, but I am the type of person that wants to have a perfect situation. I want the perfect system. I want the perfect tools. I want everything to work smoothly before I can get my product out there, because I have very high standards of the type of quality of service that I issue out there. So when I see things like this, I stop myself from doing the work until I perfect it. And as we know, waiting for the perfect moment really, it never comes. The perfect moment never comes. So what you see here is me going to look for that reconciliation, unreconciled balance. That was the 34 rand. So in terms of my reconciliation, so you didn't see in the screen, but the reconciliation needed a 34 rand and 3 cents. So I needed now to go find where this 34 rand 3 cents was. So I use Capitec. So what my Capitec bank balance, my Capitec statement does is it has a separate column for my banking fees. So every transaction has its own fee. Over and above that, then they charge a flat monthly fee. So I needed to now go, because when I added my debit orders, I never accounted for my bank charges except for that monthly 50 rand line. So I needed to go tally up all the different bank charges that I had missed. So I went line by line and I added all of the bank charges, and right at the bottom, I do get to find that the balance is 30 rand and something. Sorry, I just needed to find my sum because of my whole computer setup had changed because of the recording, so I was struggling to find my sum because of the screen and. So I tally up all of my sums, and the total came to 31 rand 23, but I am looking for 34 rand 03. So I need to go find something that was missing. So that something that was missing was actually 2 rand 80 cents. And I remember where this 2 rand 80 cents was actually in the page 2 of my bank statement that I also forgot about. So I went back and I found the 2 rand 80. That is basically my last transaction for the day. I added the 2 rand 80. So as soon as you see that I've added the 2 rand 80, then my total bank charges was 3403, excluding the 50 rand. So as you see on the side here on my PDF bank statement, my total bank fees were 84 rand 3 cents, which is basically that 34 plus the 50 rand that I had initially had on there. And then now going back to the handwriting, I went and I simply said my unreconciled bank balance was 34 rand, and then I tallied all the bank charges where I went to look on who could be missing, and I found everybody that was missing was actually 34 rand 03. So then my balance is actually zero. I have nothing that is not accounted for. So in actual fact, having started the month with a bank balance of 3,334.16 and my income of 5,715 and my expenses of 6,968.95, that is the sum of all of the business transactions that I had for the month through my bank statement that I've listed down here of 6,968 rand and 95 cents. And then my bank charges were the 50 rand that's already in the 6,000 plus the 34 rand. So my closing bank balance is indeed 2,046 rand and 48 cents. So again, be patient with the quality of everything that's happening on this video today as I refine the models. Next time you obviously won't necessarily be a blank page like this. I can actually print out the planner. I'm busy designing it, and we will be able to work on a planner that is designed to help you manage and reconcile your bank statement manually without you being overwhelmed or lost.